So slow and stretchy. Always love a slow and stretchy. Let's start by coming down into supported fish. But what I've done with the block is actually turned it horizontal. So that horizontal block kind of sits just underneath the shoulder blades, around about the bra strap, if you wear one. And then you've got the higher block at the back to support your head. If that feels a little bit too high, just drop both of those down to the lower level, but hopefully that's going to be okay. Yes, perfect. Lowering yourself back down nice and steadily, making sure that the corners of your prop aren't digging in anywhere, and just resting the head on that higher block so the neck is in the same alignment as your spine. And just mold the shoulder blades over the top of your prop, and then take the arms out to the side. Palms are gently facing up. And your choice, legs can be long along the mat. Maybe they're bent with the knees together. Maybe you like to take your butterfly legs. So letting yourself settle into your mat, settle into your props, holding and supporting you. Feel the gravity releasing as you breathe out, becoming heavier and heavier towards the earth. And as you lie here letting go of your day so far, finding time to focus on your breathing rhythm, breathing in and out through the nostrils, but notice where the breath has to go to here as something is kind of supporting you at the back. So are you widening across the rib cage? Are you breathing up through the front of the body? Are you breathing through the diaphragm and the belly rises? Where is that breath kind of coming in and out of? And how is it filling the lungs? And as we focus on our breathing rhythm, it's a one way to bring ourselves into the present moment. Letting thoughts go from the mind that we don't need to think about for the next hour on the mat. Just focusing on how we're feeling physically as we lie here. Letting go of tension and tightness in mind, heart and body. Feeling that nice passive back bend, releasing into the block underneath you. It's important to find time to slow down sometimes. Quite often a yoga practice might be vinyasa and we're flowing through postures quite quickly, or one breath per posture. Yin yoga, obviously we're holding for a number of minutes, so that's your slow down, but it is important to have that balance of slow and steady against the busy and the hectic. So always giving yourself this time to just rest, restore, and re-energize. Give the fingers a little wiggle. Move into the wrists. You can just prop up onto the elbows to do that, circling the wrists one way, circling them in the other. And then lifting the arms and just taking them up towards the sky, above the shoulders. So wrists are above the shoulders there. Oh, hi, Wesley. I felt a cat on my leg and it's like, had no idea he was in the space with me. He was so peaceful. So just reach the arms up, which pulls the shoulder blades apart from one another. And you might feel that block just a little bit more intensely at the center of the back there. Rounding the shoulders up towards the arms, and then gently let the shoulder blades soften back down. And then lift up the arms once more, so round out those shoulder blades, pulling them away from the block, and then drop them back down. Nice. Once more, lift up, and drop them gently back down. And then when the shoulder blades are actually kind of cascading themselves over like a waterfall over that block, lift the arms back over the head and only go as far as is comfortable for the stretch into the arms, the armpits, the chest and the back. Maybe the fingertips might meet the mat. Backs of the hands might meet the mat. But just notice how that feels in the full arm from fingertip to armpit, armpit to ribcage, ribcage to waist. And then gently bend at the elbow and sweep those arms back around to the side of the body. Flip the palms, bring the elbows underneath the shoulders, and then you can, if you had butterfly, bring the legs in and together and long. Bring the elbows underneath you, lift the head and look along the body. So you're pushing gently away a little bit from the floor, and maybe you push yourself up enough that you can come off of the block. So it's a nice supported fish with your hands. So looking along the body, drawing navel in, opening across the chest, coming away from your prop, and then gently roll over to one side, take both blocks away, and roll down steadily all the way onto your back. Find a nice star shape there. So arms go out nice and wide, feet are nice and wide, making sure that the shoulder blades are spreading apart from one another. You feel those scapula relaxing. Feel the rib cage spreading from side to side. Feel the waists and the hips and the buttocks all relaxed. Give the hips a little shake from side to side. That in turn shakes the legs all the way down through the relaxed thighs, relaxed calves. You get a calf massage all the way down to the ankles and the toes. And then gather those knees in towards the chest. You might like to leave a little gap between the thighs, or just squeeze the knees together. So thighs come down to belly and chest, maybe just holding on to the shins or interlacing the fingers. Lengthening the tailbone, feeling the whole spine lengthening out, flattening on the floor, including the neck, and the face and the throat are soft and relaxed. Lift the head away from the mat and bring the head in as close as you can in a tight, tight ball. So rounding out gently through the spine, pulling forehead to knees. Notice where you have to find the breath here, because the thighs are pressing so much against the belly and the chest. You can't breathe through the front, we have to breathe through the sides and the back, and then give yourself a little bit of impetus to roll all the way up to seated. Or you can just roll over to one side, nice, and extend those legs out in front of you. Give the feet a little movement, flexing, pointing, rotating through the ankles. Nice. And if you need to, you can always sit on a thin block or a blanket or one of the other bricks. Bending up the knees. Let's take our hands down by the side of us and start to fold over bent legs. So we're bringing our head down between the knees, and you can keep the knees together or have a little gap there. Lift and lengthen. So trying to open the chest, finding a nice flat back. Nice. And then reach over a little bit more, letting the head drop down.
This time we're going to keep the body where it is and slide the feet away from us. Sliding buttocks back maybe. Lift and lengthen through the spine. Wiggle the flesh away from the sit bones and exhale into that forward fold. Now don't go too deep too soon. We're going to be here for about 5 or 6 steady long breaths. It's not a yin posture. We're just allowing the flexion of the spine, but also that release through the back of the legs. Notice what happens when you draw the navel in towards the lower back. Soften through the shoulders, relax through the head and the neck. Start to walk the hands back towards the hips as you roll up each and every vertebra. There's no rush to come back up to seated. Hands just come back by the hips there. You pull the elbows in towards one another and just lift the chest, lift the sternum. Gaze might be forward or up towards the sky. So again, open across the chest, pull those elbows in towards one another. And then nice and slowly bring yourself back to seated. Soles of the feet come together in butterfly. And just gently guide the knees downwards towards the floor. So you might just give them a little press. Notice how that affects the inner groin, outer hips here. And then find a nice comfortable upright position. Reaching up with one arm, doesn't matter which one, of course we have to do both. Reach and lengthen and exhale. And what I'd like you to do is just lift that buttock, the opposite buttock, away from the floor. So you kind of drop all the way down onto that forearm or maybe a block. Now start pulling that buttock down towards the floor. Ooh, yeah. Keep pressing those knees down. And then we're going to fold in over that front knee. Hand might reach down towards the floor. Head might come to the knee. Draw navel in gently. Making sure both sit bones have equal weight, particularly that right sit bone. And then open that arm up, and that arm circles all the way around. So you might take the gaze back towards the elbow, and it releases into the shoulder and brings you back upright. Ooh. Lift up the other arm, sweep it up and over, nice side stretch. I'm going to take the hand either down to the floor or to a block, coming down onto the elbow maybe, lifting up that buttock away from the floor. Start to draw the knee down and then start to pull the buttock down. And maybe the elbow has to come off there, you know, to be able to bring that sit bone back down. Nice. Keep drawing knees down, side stretching. And then gently curl inwards, reaching that hand down towards the floor, head towards the knee, navel to spine. Exhaling, making sure you're pulling down that back buttock, as it were, the opposite side, both buttocks equally planted to the ground. And then we open up back through that side stretch. That should feel a little bit easier and nicer now. And then hopefully just changing the gaze as you circle that arm open and bring the hands back to the knees. Lift the knees together. Take the feet a little bit wider. Sit nice and tall. And you can have the hands behind you if you like, just dropping knees over one way and the other to release. Nice. Good. And then just bring ourselves into tabletop position. So we've already started to move through forward flexions, back bends, some side stretches. So start to find your cat and cow here. Inhaling for cow, exhaling, rounding out, pushing away through tops of the feet, shins and palms. Think about the entire breath moving the entire spine and the entire spinal movement, the length of each breath. Widening the knees after your last cat pose and bringing the toes to touch and coming back. Just wiggle the hips a little more left and right, bringing the belly and the chest between the thighs. Maybe the hands come underneath the head or they stretch forward into your wide leg child's pose. Notice any tension here. Child's pose isn't everybody's friend. Release through the spine, release through the sacrum, release through the buttocks, the hips, the thighs, the knees. Soften out through the ankles if you can. And take a moment as the head connects to the earth to draw in that wonderful grounding energy to keep us balanced, keep us steady. Lift back up into tabletop. Bring those knees into parallel. Heart pose coming up. So reaching fingertips forward, dropping chest down towards the floor. You might be resting on the chin. You might be resting on the forehead or a block here. Keeping the hips nice and high above the knees. We're pressing down gently through the tops of the feet and the shins. As if you have a bag of sugar between the shoulder blades, melting the chest deeper towards the floor. And then coming all the way forward and onto your belly. Lowering down, bringing the head to the back of the hands, big toes touch, heels gently fall out to the sides. Relax. Take a moment to pause at this point, just checking in with your body, checking in with the spine, checking in with the shoulders. We're going to take our right leg out to the side of us into our half frog. So there's a 90-degree bend at the hip, knee and the ankle, flexing gently through that right foot, making sure that the left leg is extended and all 5 toes, including the little toe, is pressing down gently towards the floor. If you like, and this feels comfortable, you might want to come up into a Sphinx pose. Dropping down through that right hip. Remember, little toe of left leg rolls downwards. From here, we just lift the right elbow and we slide the left hand underneath. So it might be a bit tricky here. I'm just going to move my mic in front of me. So right hand might move forward a little bit, and we're just going to drop down the weight through that right armpit. So dropping right armpit down towards the floor. If you like, moving on, you can extend that right leg out to the side. So right leg becomes straight. We're dropping down through that right hip as if somebody's pulling our leg away from our body. then bring right hand back, bring left hand back, bring the head onto the hands, bend the right knee, and bring that right leg back to meet the left. Give the hips a little shake out. So we're going for the inner and outer edges of the body, the arms and the legs. I'm going to have to move over a little bit to get the other side. So half frog, first of all. Bend at the hip, bend at the knee, bend at the ankle. Roll down all 5 toes of your right leg. Dropping down through that left hip, relaxing into the glute, maybe choosing your Sphinx pose from there. We're rolling down the little toe of that right extended leg. Going to lift up the left elbow, slide through that right arm underneath us, coming on the outer edge of that right arm. And then maybe the left arm reaches forward as we drop down through the left armpit. And again, choosing the option of extending that left leg. I've got a great big chimney breast in my way here, so I've gone a little bit further past my hip. So the fingertips reach towards the extended leg toes, and we're dropping down through that left chest, left shoulder. Left arm comes back, right arm releases, head to the back of the hands, and bend into left knee to bring that left leg back to meet the right. Bring yourself back into the center, big toes touch, and just sway out. Interlace the fingers behind the body and start to roll the shoulders away from the ears, pulling the shoulder blades together in the center of the back, pressing the knuckles towards the heels. So maybe the chest starts to raise up a little bit from the floor, but we're starting to engage the abdominals to support the spine in the musculature here, lengthening through the spine, lifting up, pressing those knuckles, pulling those arms down the back. Nice. And pressing down through all 10 toenails and lower down onto the cheek. Hands come by the hips. Relax through the shoulders. Bring the hands back to the shoulders and just push up through a cobra. If you like, you might just like to do a little movement through the shoulders, a dancing cobra, just to release out any tension there. And then push yourself back into your tabletop position. Find that cat and cow once more. Go easy into the flexions. You might find the back bends a little bit more kind of freer. And then bring the right knee to the right wrist. We're going to come into a pigeon pose from here. So opening out that right foot
and maybe propping up as you need to. I've got one of these nice thin rectangular blocks which aren't as thick as the others, but that can kind of prop me up under there. Now just stay upright for a moment, dropping down weight through left and right hips, and then maybe you start to come down towards the floor. Don't go too deep too soon. There's no rush to get anywhere. Remember, this is slow and stretchy. We take our time. And we're starting to roll down that left hip, that left iliac crest towards the right heel. And your right foot is slightly active, so there's a little bit of activation in the ankle there. Okay, we can fill space with blocks, blankets, cushions, bolsters, pillows, whatever we need, wherever we need to fill the space. Nice and slowly, lift the head, place the hands on the floor, start to walk yourself back, and just tuck the back toe, and if you like, you can move up into your downward facing dog to release from that. So if you like, just lifting up that leg and just releasing into the hip, into the buttocks, maybe into the knee. And then lower the knees down, come straight back down into your tabletop. This time, left knee to left wrist, again opening that shin out slightly to the front of the mat and dropping down equally through the hips, maybe filling that space underneath your left buttock. And then when you feel ready to do so, maybe coming down a little bit lower. Rolling that right hip flexor down towards the left heel. Softening into the posture through gravitational and breath release. So using the exhale, letting go, softening into it. And taking steps and stages to go deeper into the posture as you feel you need to. Lifting the gaze, lifting the head, walking the hands back, and again just planting the hands down onto the floor, tucking the back toe, and if you like, lifting up that leg into your three-legged dog and just releasing that hip, buttock, knee out. Nice. And then release that left foot into your downward facing dog. Feel the hamstrings starting to soften, bending the knees if you need to, releasing the heels towards the back of the floors. And then walk the feet towards the hands, come into the center of your mat. Make sure the feet start to come parallel and flat to the floor. Give yourself a little bit of release through the toes, through the heels, bend the knees. And then just come into a dangle if it feels good to do so. So taking hold of the elbows or letting the hands come to the floor, let the head relax. If you need to, keep the head in line with the heart. You can rest the elbows on the thighs, nice long spine.
Lift up a little bit, hands come to the floor. We're going to bring our right knee behind our left knee, coming down into our seated twist. That's it. So you're going to bring both buttocks down to the floor and start to find that nice comfortable position of your seated twist. Good. Sitting nice and tall. We're going to twist towards that bent knee and gently, again, no forcing, maybe hugging the knee or maybe taking the elbow over, whatever feels good. Hand might rest behind you, gaze might be ahead, to the side, or over the back shoulder. But think about pulling that big toe down of your left foot. Breath is slow and steady. And the inhale breath lengthens the spine. The exhale breath deepens the rotation as you need to. Bring yourself back into the center. Hands come down to the floor. We give ourselves a little bit of a push up. And we simply swap the legs around, bringing the left knee behind the right, dropping down, and again, just finding both buttocks to the floor, lengthening that spine up nice and tall, and taking that rotation towards the bent knee. And you might feel quite different on both sides of the body. You might feel different things in legs, in spines, in hips. And we're pulling down that big right toe, flattening the foot to the floor and opening the chest out to that bent thigh. Bring yourself back into center, unravel the legs and maybe go sideways onto your mat. So we're going to take the legs nice and wide. Of course, as wide as is comfortable. Sit nice and tall and just release into the ankles and the feet there because they were all kind of crushed up maybe in that twist. So again, lengthening the spine up, relaxing the shoulders. Nice, good. And soften into the back of the knees and then relax the legs. So give them a little bit of shake, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Nice. We're going to lean over towards this leg in our side stretch. So reaching up and over. What we did at the beginning where I asked you to lift that buttock up, try to keep that buttock down. Yeah. So we're pulling down, actively pulling down that buttock on the opposite leg. We're opening up the space between the shoulder and the ear, reaching the fingers way past the toes and rolling the rib cage up towards the sky. The gaze might be down at the leg, it might be straight ahead, or it might, if the neck allows, up towards the sky. Keep actively pulling down that back buttock. Gravity releases you down towards the leg, no forcing. And then gently bring yourself back up. Take time to come back up, realigning the spine. Okay, we're going to go forward before we go to the other side. So sliding fingers forward, hinging from the hips. We're tilting the pelvis back behind us. Nice flat back, open chest. Relax the shoulders there. Yeah.
Soften the face, making sure that we haven't rolled our legs inwards, so our toes are still pointing up towards the sky. And then just relax that straight flat back, rounding out, drawing navel into spine, coming into a more relaxed posture. Walk the hands back towards the body, sit nice and tall, keep that back buttock grounded, sweeping the arm up and taking it over towards the other leg. Again, actively pull down that back buttock. Let gravity do the work for you there through the torso, the heaviness of the head and the body. Head might be looking forward, might be looking down, might be looking up towards the sky, but create space between the arm, the shoulder and the ear. Fingertips reach way past the toes and we roll the rib cage open towards the sky. Breathe in, gently bring yourself back upright. Nice. And let's just lift those knees and bring those legs in slowly. Good. Give yourself a nice big squeeze of the knees. Just open the knees, say about hip width. We're going to get our elbows and we're going to pull our elbows in that gap. So the elbows pull down towards the floor. And maybe you can wrap your hands around your calves or your feet. Maybe place the hands on top of the feet there. And so the upper arm is just underneath the knees. And then turn the toes outwards, so you might catch hold of the toes, and you start to slide the feet out just a little bit further. Only go as far as you know that it's going to be comfortable. You might let go of the feet, and then you flip the palms over and you come into that tortoise pose. Coming out's always a little bit of a challenge, so it's a little bit of a wiggle and a wiggle and a wiggle. Nice. Good. Let's come down onto our back. So having a strap handy by the side of you. And draw the knees in towards the chest. Lengthen the spine, spread the shoulder blades. Breathe out. So just before we get into the legs and the back of the legs, just open the arms out into cactus. So you've got a bend at the elbow. And then lengthen the legs up towards the sky. Maybe there's a bend in the back of the knee. Take a look at the toes. Pull the toes back towards the shins as if you were supporting someone on the soles of your feet. Spread the toes apart. Big toes pull in towards one another. Little toes pull out away from one another. And then point through the feet. Stretch the tops of the feet. Stretch the arches. And then rotate ankles, drawing big circles in the air with the big toe. One way and the other. And reach up now with your fingers and see if you are anywhere close with the shoulders down on the floor to taking hold of the big toes. So yeah, pull the toes a little closer. The legs might be apart, the knees might be bent, but we're keeping our tailbone down to the floor. Oh, that's a good one.
So it's like a downward facing dog, but our hands are just in a different place. And we're going to keep that right foot and lower the left and squeeze that right knee in towards the chest. Now you might like to use your strap here, placing that over your right foot. And then extending from the back of the knee, we're going to try and keep our thigh as close as we can in towards the body. Extending on your exhale, pulling the hands all the way down to the end of the strap so you can relax the elbows by the side of you. Nice. Staying here for 5 breaths. We're going to go into a similar posture to what we did when we were in a prone position from that half frog. So we're going to take that right leg out to the side of us, and maybe our left arm goes out to the side of us too. I don't really have enough room. And relax that glute, relax the buttock there. Now clench the buttock. Now relax the buttock. Let the leg drop, clench the buttock. And relax it. Let the leg drop a little bit more. We're holding right at the end of our strap and letting that leg with gravity pull down towards the floor. Notice if you're in clenched or relaxed buttocks. Breathe in, bring the legs back into the center. Take the strap away from your right foot and then bring your left hand to your right knee. We're going to roll over onto our left hip and we're going to find a cat catching its tail here. So our left hand is on our right knee. Our right hand might reach down and might catch our left foot. But we're going to keep our chest, our shoulders nice and square to the sky. So notice everything that's going on here. I mean, personally, my most intense part is running down through my glutes here, all this kind of right at the top of the hamstrings where it connects to the gluteal muscles. That's where I'm feeling it most. You might feel it in the chest, in the shoulders, in the spine. Maybe you're feeling it in the inner groin or even in that left quad, because we've got a quad stretch and a hip flexor stretch going on in the left leg. Release the foot and roll yourself back into the center, extending both legs along the mat. Take a moment to just feel what's going on in that right leg. So drawing knees in and rolling, massaging out through the spine. We're going to do that same process with both legs going up towards the sky. So finding cactus arms. If cactus is really not for you, just have them by the side of the body and lift those legs up towards the sky. Take a look at the toes. Pull the toes back towards the shins as if you were supporting someone on the soles of your feet. Spread the toes apart as if you had toe spacers. Pull the big toes towards one another in the center line. Pull the little toes apart. And then point the feet, stretching through the arches, stretching through the ankles, the shins. And then start drawing big circles in the air with those rotations. One way and the other. And then keeping the shoulders nice and planted, reaching the hands up towards the toes. We're going to pull the toes gently towards the fingers. Keep those shoulders nice and planted towards the floor and imagine those toes are coming way back over the head,
Maybe you could just skim the tips of the toenail. Feet might be apart, might be together, knees might be bent, but keep pulling the tailbone downwards towards the floor. And as we did on the other side, we keep our left leg in this time and our right leg extends. So hug that left knee in towards the chest. Maybe using the strap, placing the strap over the sole of your left foot and extending on your exhale from the back of the knee, trying to keep that thigh as close as you can towards the chest, and then taking the hands all the way down to the base of the strap, relaxing the elbows down the side of the body. Softening into this one, finding the steadiness of the breath. Remember, we're not going too far too soon. We're not rushing. We're taking time to get there. And we're allowing our breath to be nice and comfortable. And we take that leg out to the side of us. Arm might go to the right. And let that leg start to drop down towards the floor. Clench the buttock of the left side and relax. Notice if the leg starts to drop a little bit more. Clench the buttock. Breathe out, let that buttock relax. Does the leg drop a little bit more? Last time, clench and release, and then just hold. Try not to hold the strap too tightly. Let the leg be heavy, and notice if you've left the buttock in a clenched or relaxed state. Breathe that leg back into the center. I'm going to take that strap away as you bend the leg, and then take the right hand to the left knee and roll over onto your right hip. Start to come into that cat, catching its own tail and reaching down towards your right foot with your left hand. Opening out through the chest, we're pulling gently that left shoulder blade down towards the floor. You might notice that the other side feels different. Notice what you need to change. Maybe you can't quite meet the foot, but that's okay. The hand is reaching down towards it. It's more important to keep the shoulder blades and the chest facing up towards the sky. Release the foot. Roll back into center. Realign everything. We have one more stretch. Draw the knees in. Squeeze and lengthen the spine. If you can, fingers reach towards the toes. Maybe you catch the two peace fingers around the big toes. Lengthening the tailbone here, we're going to extend those legs up and behind us. So again, legs might stay bent, feet might be apart, mine are hip width, as if I was in a downward dog position. Dropping my hips, dropping the tailbone, dropping my shoulders and my spine is flat to the mat. Nice. Feel the release as you breathe out. Sink into it a little bit more. And then let's bend those knees, pull it into a happy baby from there, and widen those thighs away from the hips and rib cage and waist. Soles of the feet go up towards the sky. You can rock and roll side to side if you like, or just find a little bit of stillness. And if you like, you can release the hands over the big toe to take hold of the outer edges of the feet. That's okay. Then gently bring the heels down towards the floor. Take the butterfly reclined posture here, reclined butterfly. Hands come down either onto the hips or the belly or by the side of you. Just taking a moment to breathe before we go into final relaxation. So letting the knees drop down towards the floor. Notice if the glutes are clenching or are they fully relaxed. Notice if the back is gently arching away from the floor, but are the shoulder blades spread wide apart? Take the hands to the thighs, lift the knees together and place the soles of the feet wide. Let the knees drop in towards the center. Relax everything. Glutes, buttocks, hips, belly, spine. Let's make our way into a final relaxation posture that is most comfortable to us. Maybe that's seated, maybe that's on your side, maybe it's lying down with a bolster underneath the knees, or the legs can be fully straight. Maybe you're using props underneath the head, making sure that you just remain warm. And spread the shoulder blades apart, almost lift up, spread them apart from one another, and then roll back down. Release any tension in the neck and the head just by dropping the chin over to a shoulder and to the opposite shoulder. And then let the hands fall by the sides of the hips with the palms face up. And come into the most comfortable Shavasana you can, wherever it is for you. Slow and stretchy is just as important as the fast and the energetic and the vigorous and, the stamina and endurance in a yoga practice. This slow down balances the parasympathetic with the sympathetic nervous system. It's important to remember to not overforce, but allow gravity or props to help you get deeper into postures. I'll leave you for a few moments of silence. I'll let you know when it's time to come back around. Taking a nice deep breath in through the nose and just breathing out through the mouth, sighing out that breath. Using the breath to awaken you from your Shavasana as you bring gentle movement into the body, as you start to bring yourself back into your room, back onto the mat, back into conscious awareness, maybe choosing to lift the arms up above the head to stretch out the body from a deep, restful sleep. And gathering the knees in as you gently roll and massage out through the spine, and just be guided by how the body feels before you rush back into your evening, rolling over to one side and taking time, no rush, to bring yourself up to comfortable seat. And whatever that comfortable seat is, I'm actually going to choose kneeling. And just sitting nice and tall, checking in with the body, bringing the hands into Anjali Mudra. Feeling the thumbs resting at the heart space, connecting mind, heart and body as one, a union. Yuj, yoga, a union of mind, body and soul. Always thanking yourself for your practice, and I thank you. Namaste.